Today's Wednesday, May 20, 2020. 5/20/2020. Just got finished with a long day of work. Doing a plumbing remodel in North Vancouver. Just got back on the ferry ride. Feel myself shifting gears a little bit. I was reflecting on today how much it helps for me to go plant myself somewhere out in nature that I like, that helps me to feel good, that being in these kind of places helps me get in touch with my truth, helps me get in touch with my nature. And it just dawned on me how simple that is. How simple, how important, and another aspect of what the wild gives us, like helps us connect in with that like wild and free part of ourselves. Today on the ride home, I just talked with a good friend of mine, Eric, on the phone. Partners with my other really good friend, Shannon Thompson. Got to connect with both of them a little bit just now on my ride home, and talking about all the cool things that have gone down since the last time we talked, all the big projects we're working on, all the big accomplishments, all the big dreams. And it got me appreciating how important it's been to me to have people that believe in me, and back me up and support me on my dreams, and how much that's made a difference in my life. I feel like I often am shy about my dreams, like they feel too big or too silly maybe to even say out loud, or I feel foolish for dreaming such a thing. And my dreams often are things that maybe don't exist on the planet right now, and then for me to dare to dream that they could, and that I might be the one that helps to bring them in. And to even speak that dream out loud is vulnerable. And it got me thinking that I wanted to speak to this idea I have to offer this service of what I'm terming right now as a spiritual evolution consultant. And I feel like, it's the most true, direct way I can name it and speak to it of what it is that I feel I would like to offer to people. And yet I have an awareness that people are probably confused. They don't know what I mean by that, or what I'm offering, or what it would do for them. So I guess I wanted to speak to that a little bit, especially in the context of dreaming. of dreaming big. And I guess to introduce it, I would say I want to honor spirituality for people. I want to honor everyone's individual path of spirituality. And not only honor it as in a way of like, oh, I don't want to trespass on that or speak about it, I'll just let it stay private. You have yours, I have mine, we'll leave it there. But to more go into a deeper path of saying like, hey, like, I want to offer support for you to deepen your own spiritual practice. I want to offer support for you to break out into new territory on your spiritual path. I want to offer support for you to take risk and to follow through and listen to that voice within that's speaking to you that next big challenge of your life, and you know what it is, but there's no one who would dare ask you to do what that little voice is asking you to do. And no one will ever know if you do or don't do it. But just between you and that little voice, it's kind of telling you where your next growing edge is. And not always a growing edge in the way of like outer circumstances or outer success, but a growing edge of braving into some new part of our own soul. And I feel we all have these voices and we all hear them. And I know they're not easy to follow. And I want to offer support for like, hey, like, yes, you are hearing that voice. And yes, it is urging you onto like a deeper soul spiritual path. And yes, your spiritual path will look completely different from everyone else's. And you never have to answer to anyone other than yourself. But I would like to set up a booth, a window, a space in our world that addresses and acknowledges these types of voices and these opportunities for personal spiritual growth and for support in taking these risks, moving in this direction that we're not always going to have support for in our family and our friends and our peers, and that is not always going to be backed by it's not always going to be supported by like what would appear to be a career move or an outwardly moving up in society kind of way. It usually has the opposite effect of kind of withdrawing or pulling out or heading in a new direction. And I want to honor those kind of things and offer support for it and offer help to locate that truth within us, to hear that voice, to encourage us to step into our more powerful selves, to not just be doing things that would help us be successful in the world as it already is, but help us to step into our creatorship. How do we become creators of the new? How do we birth that part of ourselves that no one has ever seen before, who no one's ever seen a human be like that, or speak like that, or act like that, or create like that? For me, this is what a spiritual evolution consultant is. It's someone you consult with about your spiritual path. It's a spiritual evolution because it's always growing, it's always changing, it's always evolving. It started as this, and then it became this, and then it shifted into that, and now it's growing into this, and now it's going this new place I have no idea, and I'm scared as hell. And it may be taking me on a path somewhere where only I get to walk it, and the people closest with me may not be coming. This is what I want to offer. I want to offer a consultancy for someone who's going to help you get deeper into your truth, get closer into the embodiment of your higher self, step into a more empowered, embodied soul creator here on the planet, to usher in the new, to usher in the things that we don't see on the planet. There's not a job for it, there's not a career for it, there's not a university course to get you ready for it, but you're here to birth it. And in birthing it, we first have to birth many aspects of ourselves that keep challenging us, keep asking us to lean deeper in to a new direction, to an uncomfortable, sometimes scary new space for us. But some part of us knows deep down that that's what we need to do for this next level of growth, this next level of soul growth. I want to see more strong individuals on this planet. I want to see strong women. I want to see strong men. I want to see them creating powerfully, both as individuals and as teams, as communities, as collectives. I want to support people to step into this power. I don't have tricks of teaching people how to become rich, or famous, or sane. But I feel like I have had a long life of following my own inner voice and letting it take me on many adventures, many scary and unsafe places, and through many different spiritual traditions. And it's led me to the understanding that there is no spiritual tradition that I'm supposed to be a part of. I'm just supposed to cultivate my own spirit and whatever I need to do that. And I want to encourage and support this in others, to help people cultivate their own spiritual path, to recognize it, to honor it, to dignify it, that they're not spiritual, or that they're not doing anything, that they're doing a very specific something, and listening to that small voice within, and not pretending like they didn't hear it, and getting brave enough to answer that voice and say, yes, I'm going to show up for that voice. I'm going to do it. For me, this little voice is asking me to be brave enough to dream that what it is that I want to offer, a spiritual evolution consultancy, is not a crazy or silly dream, but something that I believe our planet, our species really needs. And I don't really see it or hear it spoken about. and what I'm trying to bring in and create, like, I don't really have a template for. In some ways, I know more what it isn't than what it actually is. But I do have an understanding that it's important. And from that understanding, it's more important than most anything else I find myself doing most days. And I have a yearning to keep myself awake and focused on my own path, and to tune into how I can be like sharpening my own skills on my own growth, on my own awakening, on my own learning, my own unfolding or flowering of my own soul. And I feel this inside me like a birth happening, like a birth that's been happening for many years. And sometimes it feels slow and painful, and it's also hasn't completely happened yet, and it's asking me to give it everything I got, to push. Not that I know what I'm speaking of here, only in an empathic way can I imagine, but a pushing to help birth this thing that wants to be birthed from me, that this new creation from my soul that wants to come out. And I'm leaning into that. I'm learning how to be brave enough to speak to this dream and to offer it. And I want to help champion this in other people. I want to hear their beautiful dreams and back them up and support them to become and embody and be the powerful creator they need to do to bring it in. Because I'm certain that our planet needs it. That our human species needs it right now. And I want to be a strong voice supporting that. And I want to create a space that's known somewhere in the community, that there's a person, there's a place where people back you up and support you on that. Where people help you center in on how to hear that voice and how to hear your truth and how to follow that. And how to stay true to it. How to make friends with it and to find happiness and solace in that friendship. That's today's share. Dreams. Brave enough to speak our dreams. Brave enough to dare to believe that they can come true. Brave enough to share with others that we are dreaming this thing that doesn't make sense or sounds impossible. But we're not going to stop believing in it and dreaming it and creating it. Thank you for witnessing me speak my truth. Have a beautiful evening.